Hello again, and today I'm going to be what? Today I'm going to be doing another. I can't speak. Today I'm going to be doing another video, but I'm going to be talking about dividends. I don't know if I've spoken about these before. I have on my TikTok, but I don't think I have on my YouTube. But I felt like I want to talk to you about them because they are very important, and I really like them, and I'm getting into them way more. I used to not care about them at all, but now I'm like, they are a very good tool in the stock and investment world. So why not talk about them and get people to learn about them? Don't know. But once again, I'm going to try and be quick. So let's get straight into it. What are dividends? A dividend is a distribution of profits by a corporation to its shareholders. Basically meaning that when a corporation makes some money, they make the revenue, then they make the profit. And from the profit, they'll give their shareholders a proportion of what they make. When a business earns profits, it has the opportunity to share a percentage of the profits to its shareholders. This is known as the dividend yield. So that's what. So when, say you're researching a stock and it says dividend yield 3%, that means from the percentage that of the profits that the company made, that's how much of the percentage from the profits they're going to give you. That should make sense. But that's what a dividend basically is. Now, how do dividends work? They work by a company making profits and then sharing the profits with its shareholders. I don't know why I can't read, but it's basically what I just said. When a company makes the profits, they give you a proportion of the profits because it's basically a thank you. The second point, it's like a thank you for owning shares in the company. When you're putting money into the shares, you're basically giving them a bit more money to do more things with the company. That's what a shareholder is. The amount you are paid in dividends depends on the amount of shares that you own. So, for example, if someone has 100 shares and someone else has 1, they're not going to get the same percentage from the dividend because they don't own the same amount of shares. They'll get paid the same in dividends. So if the dividend yields 3%, they'll both get 3%, but 3% on the two different numbers. So 3% on the 100, then 3% on the 1. Because not everyone can get paid exactly the same, because that would be very stupid. So it depends on the amount of shares that you actually own. That's why you want to try and own a lot in the shares, because then you can earn more in dividend. Oh, as well, I don't think I mentioned it. I think it's quite obvious, but a dividend is basically a payout that the company does. So when you're in the company, they'll pay the dividend to you. So you'll just be given, you own 100 shares, you'll just be given £1 or something, and you'll just get a notification, oh, you've been paid £1 in dividends, and it'll either get reinvested or you can just take it and do whatever you want with the £1. But that's how it works basically. I hope that makes sense. So some companies pay more than others, yes. So not all companies pay the exact same amount in dividends. Some pay more, some pay less, because it depends on the profits that the company's made. So the more profits that the company has made, the more likely they're going to pay a dividend. But some companies, because they're not performing as much in the stock market, they'll just give it based on, oh, we want you to stay in, so we're going to pay a high dividend, even though we're not actually offering you much in owning the shares. That could be a potential problem with owning the companies, but it is what it is. Now, dividends are paid quarterly. I should have said mainly, because dividends aren't paid like, all dividends aren't paid quarterly. Some are paid monthly, some are paid twice a year, some are paid 4 times a year. That's the quarterly ones. Some are paid once a year. It depends on the company. Like, you have to find it when you're finding the company. So the ones I've got currently have it set up so I'm getting paid like 8 times in the year. So it's like one will pay this month, then one will pay the next, and the other pay the next, and the other pay the next. So it works kind of like that. So all dividends aren't paid quarterly, but I've got it written here because most of them are, because it's like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. You just get paid in the quarters. Now, remember, not all good dividend paying companies are good companies. This is a very important point that I had to make. You can invest in a dividend company to get good dividend payouts, but the company might be terrible. The company might not perform at all. You could get, let's say, £20 in a year from dividends, but the company also goes down £20 in the stock. So you've lost £20. You've gained it, but then you've lost it. So it's like, not all dividend paying companies are good companies to actually invest into. So you want to find good companies that have a good balance sheet and all that you can invest into, because you want to invest into something that's going to grow. For example, in my portfolio, I own the REIT, which I'll talk about in a second. I own the dividend company that provides Amazon a warehouse. Amazon's not going anywhere, and the contract's a very long contract, so you know full well that company's going to perform for the next how many years, because Amazon's not going anywhere. No one's going to overtake Amazon. So you know they're always getting money. Then alongside Amazon, there's companies, I can't name off the top of my head, but I've spoken about them before, that are also big companies, so they're not going anywhere. So I know I've got a company that's going to perform at least 5% return in the year. I think last year it was like 20%. So I know it's going to do good. So just remember, not all good dividend paying companies are good companies to invest in. Don't forget that one. 1 second. REITs. REITs. I love REITs personally. I don't look for just normal companies that give REITs, that give dividends. I only invest in REITs for my dividends. Now, a REIT is a real estate investment trust that is a company. I cannot read. A real estate investment trust is a company that owns and in most cases operates income producing real estate. So a REIT, basically, it's a company that owns real estate. It's a company that owns buildings, owns houses, all these things. That's what a REIT is. It's basically investing in real estate without actually buying the properties yourself. You're investing in the companies that are buying the properties for you. REITs own many types of commercial real estate. For example, these are a few things they own. So office and apartment buildings, warehouses, hospitals, shopping centres, hotels, commercial forests. You'll get ones that have like, for say people are in care, they own social care like properties. You'll get a lot like that. You'll just find a lot of, because every building, every shop, all of these have someone who owns it. So because they have someone who owns it, you can buy into that person and that company that owns it and get a proportion of what they make. It only makes sense in my eyes. I just like REITs. Now, why I like REITs? 1, they have high dividend yields. For example, most REITs actually have like 3+% they can return. Normal companies that usually have like 1, 0 point this, 0 point that. Some REITs have 0 point this, 0 point that, but a lot of them have high paying dividend yields above like 3%, which is a very good dividend, because say you got £100 in it and you're getting 3% back, you're getting £3. Now imagine you have more in it, you're getting a bunch more. So it's just over time you can get a lot of money from dividends, because they also, if they have a high dividend yield, then you're going to make a bunch of money back. Cheap prices so I can buy more. Meaning that the REITs I have, I think 3 of them are under £3. So there's like a £2. I think one of them's £2 and the other 2 are like £1 something. So it's like I can buy so many shares and return so much money on these that it's like, why would I not do it? Because I'm earning a bunch from it. So because they're cheap, I can buy more and earn more from the dividend, which makes sense. Well, I think it makes sense anyway. Now, the third point, you can invest in real estate without any extra fees. This is one thing that I love. I really want to get into property. Eventually, I'm actually going to buy properties that I'm going to manage. But for now, I can't do that. So how do I get into property without being in property? I get into property without being in property by buying into REITs that are going to pay me some passive income for just owning the REIT. Yes, it might be small. It might be a little bit, but eventually when I own more shares, it's going to be bringing in a bunch more money. So yeah, you get to invest in property without having to pay all these random taxes, repairs, maintenance, all those things. Like, you don't have to do all the contracts and all that. You can just invest in property and just get income by just owning the shares. And if you picked a good company, It's going to go up in share price as well. So it's a win-win situation if you look at the right ones. The fourth point, you can invest in important property companies. That's just the big thing that I like. What else I said? Companies that provide locations to tech, science, agriculture, things like that. We know tech's not going anywhere. So why would you not invest in the companies that have to make things somewhere? The iPhones, they need somewhere to make the iPhones. Amazon, they need somewhere to send their products. Science, biotech, all this stuff, they need freezers and fridges. So why would you not invest in fridge freezer location companies where they put their thingy-majigs, whatever they do? Agriculture, we need farms. We need to get meat. We need to get eggs, all these things. Vegans, we need to get plants and all that. Where are you getting it from? Farms. So we know these places aren't going anywhere. If you know it's not going anywhere, then you can invest into the property and the land and the company that is providing all of this stuff to the consumer and people. Think deeper, bro. No. And the fifth one, you can find good companies and your investment can also increase. Like I said, you don't want to invest in a bad company and get a good dividend. You want a good dividend plus an increase in the share price. So if you go up in like 20% in the year, plus you have £20 in dividends that you get, you're sorted. That is a very good investment. You can't go wrong with that. So that's just why I like REITs, personally. Now, how to use dividend stocks. This is a very simple thing. So one, you can use a dividend stock to pay off bills. You can use it as passive income. You can use it to reinvest into stocks and earn more shares. And you can use it, the main one, to buy back your time. Let's start from number one. So you use dividends to pay off bills. How can you do that? So if you have enough shares, let's say I have a dividend company and it's paying me £10 every month. Now I know that I'm paying $9.99 for Spotify. Now I can take that dividend that I'm getting monthly, put it into my bank account and pay off the bill through that. That's one less bill that I have to pay from the money that I earn from where I work. Or that's an extra £10 that I just have because I don't now have to pay that bill. I don't have to worry about losing the money to that bill because I still have it. Because I've earned it from the dividend. So you use it to pay off bills, whether it's a £3, £1, £5, £20 bill. You can earn enough, you can put in enough so you can eventually pay off bills. You can use it as, number two, by the way, you can use it as passive income. You can use it as just a form of income. If you build it up enough and you get £100 a month, £100 a quarter, 3 to 4 times a year, that's an extra £100 you've got of passive income for doing nothing. So that's how you can use dividends, just to have a form of income from doing nothing. And that's what we all want. Number three, to reinvest into stocks and earn more share. I can't talk again. To reinvest into stocks and earn more shares, increasing your dividend income. So if you have enough, this is how I looked at it first. So I've brought a dividend stock, but how many shares of that stock that pays dividend do I need to buy me another share of that company? Because you got to think, if I have enough shares in it where when I get paid a dividend it buys me another share, then I'm just increasing my shares in the company without having to put my own money into it. I'm just getting a free share every 4 months, every month, every 2, blah, 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 whatever. To reinvest into stocks and earn more shares, increasing your dividend income, you put the money into the stock pays you a dividend back, which is enough to buy another share, so you automatically reinvest it and buy another share. Now you have more shares without having to put any more money into it. Big brain. And the last one, to buy back your time. You can use dividends to buy back your time. This connects to the first one, to pay off bills. If you've got bills and your dividend companies can pay off those bills for you, you've then earned back your time. You don't have to spend time working to pay off that bill because you've now got passive income that's automatically going to do it for you. Say if you have a certain bill and your dividend company you get your dividend every 4 months. Every 4 months, you get a free month of not having to pay that bill because you've got that dividend that's going to pay it for you. So a big thing about dividends is that it can buy back your time through it being passive income, being able to pay bills and everything else. So that's a little short video on dividends. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. More videos to come soon. And thank you. Peace.